Princess Anne, Prince Harry and William just broke their silence, and everyone is shocked by what they are saying. See, these revelations reignite an intense fascination with the conspiracy theories surrounding Diana's untimely demise, an event cloaked in skepticism and shrouded in mystery. Popular narratives have long suggested that powerful figures may have wanted to eliminate the beloved princess, who, by all accounts, possessed an uncanny ability to connect with the masses, threatening the very stability of the monarchy. This isn't just a scandal. It's a riveting tale of power, control, and the relentless pursuit of truth. What happened to Princess Diana? Who is responsible? And most importantly, what exactly did they say? How did Princess Diana die? On a dark, fateful night in August 1997, the world was rocked by the shocking and untimely death of one of its most beloved figures. Princess Diana, the elegant and compassionate icon, had just left the Ritz Paris Hotel, accompanied by her companion, Dodi Fayed. As their limousine sped through the underground tunnel in Paris, fate took a horrific turn. The car, fleeing the persistent glare of the paparazzi, crashed. Beyond tragic, it felt like an unthinkable narrative, torn straight from a nightmare. Sirens wailed in the city of lights, but the vibrant Diana would never again be seen alive. In the subsequent wake of grief, official investigations were launched. Authorities scoured every detail, every fragment of evidence. Their conclusion: an accident, a dangerous cocktail of speeding, the driver's intoxication, and the relentless pursuit of photographers converged to lay the blame firmly at the feet of chance and circumstance. France's judicial system, after painstaking inquiries, offered a verdict of no foul play. But despite the clarity of this narrative, a veil of lingering suspicion hung over the conclusions. It was as if a fog of doubt partially obscured a clearer vision. Yet, as the dust settled, a troubling disquiet began to form. A legion of loyal admirers and concerned citizens refused to accept the official narrative. Whispers of conspiracy surged through the waves of public opinion, echoing the question: was it truly just an accident? Skeptics pointed fingers, some to the royal family, others to the shadowy figures lurking in the background of power. Was there more to the story, more than met the eye? Could it be that the tragic demise of the people's princess was not merely the result of reckless misfortune, but rather a calculated maneuver in a broader game? Suspicious factors. In the haunting months leading up to her tragic demise, Princess Diana voiced deeply unsettling fears regarding her safety. In hushed, urgent whispers, she confided in those closest to her: friends, family, and confidants. Speaking of an overwhelming sensation that she was being surveilled, pursued even. This wasn't mere paranoia. It was a reflection of a woman ensnared in a relentless media spectacle, where every step she took was scrutinized under the harsh glare of public attention. Could it be that her instincts were sharper than the skeptical voices that belittled her concerns? Today, her chilling proclamations about threats looming over her still resonate profoundly, suggesting she possessed a keen understanding of the dire consequences that came with defying the rigid protocols of the royal family and the unyielding gaze of societal scrutiny. How deeply aware was she that her defiance placed her squarely in the crosshairs of danger? And as the hours ticked away, following the tragic car crash, a cloud of uncertainty surrounded the timeline of emergency response. Why did it take what felt like an eternity for emergency services to reach the scene of the calamity? Eyewitnesses offered conflicting accounts, igniting a swirl of suspicion and disbelief. Was there a systemic failure, an intentional breakdown in the protocol that binds emergency response teams? Or could it be that darker forces were at work, an obstruction orchestrated by unseen actors, deliberately delaying the arrival of help? This agonizing gap in time stands as a haunting enigma, exacerbating the profound sorrow and the suspicions that enveloped the aftermath of one of the most tragic events in modern history. Grief turned to bewilderment, and as the questions mounted, so did the prevailing fear of a conspiracy lurking just beneath the surface. The relentless chase by paparazzi has long been characterized as the sinister antagonist in Diana's narrative. Yet, the haunting possibility lingers. Could their insatiable presence that fateful night have been woven into a larger, more sinister design? Whispers of intrigue swirl around the idea that MI6, the clandestine British intelligence agency, might have played a role in this chilling event. Perhaps they conspired with the paparazzi, manipulating events from the shadows to craft a narrative that would ultimately silence the princess permanently. Such notions seem almost too cinematic for the mundane realities we live. Yet, in the shadowy world of fame, power, and manipulation, the line between fiction and truth blurs relentlessly. In this intricate web of fear and adulation, nothing remains sacred, and the truth, if it ever emerges, may render our understanding of events profoundly altered. Is there a limit to the depths of deceit that the powerful will go to uphold their narratives? But what happened after that is even more suspicious. You see, in the chaotic whirlwind following the tragic death of Princess Diana, the royal family's conspicuous silence spoke volumes, sending unsettling ripples through public consciousness. As crowds around the globe united in mourning, this deliberate reticence was interpreted by many as not just a coincidence, but an admission of guilt, or, at the very least, complicity in a dreadful unraveling of events. The longing for answers intensified. A hunger for clarity rang through the public, yet all that echoed back from the Grand Palace walls was an unnerving silence. This void transformed into a breeding ground for conspiracy theories, each speculation more wild than the last. Was this silence merely a strategic retreat from a treacherous landscape, or was it an orchestrated effort to dissociate from some unspeakable truth? The absence of immediate, transparent communication didn't just amplify doubts. It directed a relentless spotlight toward the monarchy, drawing scrutinizing eyes that refused to look away, growing ever more insistent in their inquiries. And as the world grappled with its grief, underlying tensions only deepened. Each passing day without a statement from the royal entities only fanned the flames of public speculation. People began to imagine a web of intrigue. Could there be something deeper at play? An unsaid understanding among the royals that left them paralyzed in their inaction? This silence, so heavy, began to construct a sense of pervasive unease, suggesting that within the ornate halls and behind the gilded doors, the royal family was perhaps not just grieving, but also measuring their words, guarding secrets that might shatter the carefully upheld facade of tradition and reverence. But what was the drama that led to this? Well, for starters, Diana's complex relationship with the monarchy was a narrative rife with contradictions, ambitions, and emotions that defied simple explanations. It was an explosive clash of ideals and personalities, a turbulent saga deeply embedded in the very fabric of royal life. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. So let's dissect it together. No longer willing to play the passive role of the dutiful wife and mother, Diana began to seek her own identity in an environment that expected her to conform to rigid conventions. Her rise as a humanitarian and an icon of compassion was not just a personal triumph. It threatened the carefully choreographed image of a family steeped in centuries of tradition and reserve. See, Diana's marriage to Charles began in 1981, igniting a fairy tale that quickly devolved into turmoil. Beneath the surface of royal glamour, troubling fissures emerged, characterized primarily by Charles's ongoing affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. The worst part? This betrayal, exacerbated by the relentless pressures and public scrutiny of royal life, had profound and damaging consequences for Diana's mental health. As she navigated through this storm, she began to grapple with bulimia, a devastating eating disorder that she would publicly acknowledge in the early 1990s, revealing the hidden scars left by her circumstances. In Andrew Morton's revealing biography, Diana, Her True Story, she articulated her struggle with this condition as a direct response to the crushing pressure and paralyzing loneliness she endured. Particularly poignant during the tender yet tumultuous days of her engagement and early marriage, Diana disclosed that her battle with bulimia was ignited by a heartless remark from Charles regarding her weight during their engagement photo call, a moment that left her feeling utterly humiliated and unworthy, instigating a cycle of self-doubt and harm. As if this profound personal struggle wasn't enough, Diana's battles with mental health only intensified due to a growing sense of isolation within the royal family, a formidable institution steeped in tradition but lacking in emotional support. Her willingness to speak candidly about her experiences revealed a heart-wrenching journey intertwined with despair. She faced debilitating depression and even engaged in self-harm. Her pain manifested in alarming ways, leading to several suicide attempts. At one particularly low point, Diana hurled herself down a flight of stairs while pregnant, desperate for acknowledgement and help. Charles, however, diminished her pleas for assistance, dismissively suggesting she was merely crying wolf, leaving her to confront her internal struggles in agonizing solitude. Despite the shadows engulfing her personal life, Diana became widely embraced as the people's princess. Her emotional struggles juxtaposed sharply against her public persona, which was celebrated for both her charitable work and her relatability, a striking contrast that resonated with the masses. However, the cracks further widened in her relationship with the royal family, particularly following her separation from Charles in 1992. In a daring move that shocked the nation, Diana laid bare her mental health challenges during a groundbreaking 1995 BBC interview. With her candid admission, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." She openly confronted the existence of Charles's affair with Camilla, a statement that sent ripples through the monarchy and solidified her position as an outsider. Her honesty, however, served to estrangement her from those who were historically reserved, amplifying the tensions within an institution that valued silence over truth. But Diana's discussion of her struggles played a pivotal role in destigmatizing mental health issues, encouraging countless individuals to seek help and advocate for their own well-being. Following her revelations, health practitioners noted a substantial increase in the number of people pursuing treatment for bulimia. This phenomenon was later dubbed the Diana effect. All of this led to a lot of issues, one that would captivate the whole world: the royal versus Diana. From the moment Princess Diana stepped into the royal family, she was seen as both a dazzling jewel and a troubling liability, a dichotomy that would define much of her public life. Her charm captivated millions, igniting the imaginations of those yearning for a different kind of royalty. Yet her burgeoning independence sent shockwaves through the pristine walls of Buckingham Palace. That innocent young bride, who once represented tradition and propriety, had transformed into a powerful figure, unafraid to challenge the institution itself. As Diana embraced her dual role as a humanitarian and a progressive voice for change, her authenticity began to starkly contrast with the cold, unyielding image of the monarchy. This evolving dynamic painted her as a vibrant anomaly in a muted landscape, raising alarms among those who had long preferred to keep the status quo intact. Inside the royal family, cloaked in their ancestral aura of control and elitism, Diana was not celebrated as an asset, but eyed with suspicion as a burgeoning threat. Her decision to carve out her own path, one shaped by genuine compassion and a desire for social justice, sparked fears that her influence could eclipse the institution itself. As she began to reshape public perceptions through goodwill and genuine warmth, The crown grew anxious and defensive, unwilling to share its cherished limelight with an individual capable of rewriting the narrative of royal dignity and respect. The very essence of royal decorum seemed at stake, and the powers that be viewed her rise with a blend of fascination and trepidation. Diana's escalating prominence was not merely a reflection of her captivating public appearances. It signified a seismic shift in the sentiments of the public. She became a beacon of hope, illuminating the struggles of the downtrodden, while championing causes the royal family had long overlooked. With her tireless work supporting AIDS patients and advocating for landmine victims, she drew attention to heart-wrenching issues that elite circles had often chosen to ignore. Each engagement deepened her connection with the people, reinforcing her place as an icon of empathy and resilience in the face of adversity. It was more than celebrity status. It was a profound transformation from an ordinary member of the royal family into a beloved global figure who rewrote the rules of royal engagement. This widespread adoration and public outpouring of support did not pass unnoticed by the monarchy. Their centuries of rigid tradition began to crack under the weight of affection showered upon Diana, as her immense charisma and relatability began to eclipse the carefully curated royal image. Suddenly, the institution found itself challenged by a woman whose magnetic personality threatened to destabilize the foundations of royal diplomacy. Diana's journey, from a shy girl navigating the complexities of a royal life to a resonant symbol of hope, became a double-edged sword. While her influence rallied public sentiment and admiration, it simultaneously posed a formidable risk to the established order of monarchy. As if her rise to prominence was not enough to raise eyebrows, the topic of Diana's romantic life introduced a new layer of intrigue and concern. The relationship with Dodi Fayed became a focal point of royal anxiety, leading to intense scrutiny from both the family and the public alike. While the couple radiated happiness, basking in the allure of newfound affection and companionship, the monarchy scrutinized every moment as this new chapter unfolded. Dodi, with his wealth and influence, symbolized the captivating allure of an unshackled life, yet he also embodied an unsettling dialectic of foreign ties, which set off alarm bells within the royal family. Was this apparent happiness genuine, or did it threaten to destabilize the fragile balance of royal respectability? As whispers swirled about the nature of Diana's intentions and Dodi's background, it became increasingly clear that her choice of partner was laden with potential implications. The royal family likely viewed her relationship through a lens of trepidation, a potential scandal, an affront to centuries of tradition that could, if not controlled, lead to a public relations disaster unlike any the monarchy had faced before. In a world where every glance, every smile, and every gesture was carefully monitored, Diana stood at a crossroads between tradition and modernity. Her choices had the power to influence public perception and royal reputation in profound ways. As she navigated her path, the question lingered: would her pursuit of happiness and authenticity come at the cost of her standing within the institution that both adored and feared her? The monarchy, increasingly aware of her perilous and growing popularity among the masses, began viewing her through a lens tinted with skepticism. This wariness only stoked the fires of dissent, breathing life into a public narrative soaked in drama and intrigue. The truth, it seems, is shrouded in obscurity, layered beneath vast complexities that defy easy answers. So when Princess Anne made her bombshell admission, it wasn't just a personal reckoning. It was a seismic shift in the narrative surrounding one of the British monarchy's most controversial episodes. But what's the implications exactly? What does all of this mean? Let's break it down. The result. The ramifications of Princess Anne's startling admission resonate far beyond the opulent and gilded halls of Buckingham Palace. The moment her words echoed around the world, the foundations of royal narrative shook, leaving the public grappling with the implications. At the forefront of this turmoil are the emotional consequences for Diana's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, whose lives were already irrevocably transformed by their mother's untimely death. Now, they stand at a crossroads where the shadows of a legacy plagued by conspiracy theories and unanswered questions take center stage, forcing them again to confront a past they thought they knew. The emotional impact on Diana's sons is profound and layered. For William and Harry, the loss of their mother represents a deep wound, one that has never fully healed and likely never will. Anne's startling revelations threaten to reopen those old scars, unleashing a torrent of unresolved grief and unrelenting anger. Each son navigates the turbulent waters of their personal labyrinth of loss in distinct, often conflicting ways. William, burdened by royal expectations, frequently adopts a stoic front, clinging tightly to the royal duties ingrained in him since birth. In stark contrast, Harry has sought to break free from the shackles of royal obligation, yearning instead for authenticity and transparency in his life. In response to Anne's candid admission, a groundswell of public demand has erupted, calling for an independent investigation into the circumstances surrounding Diana's death. Advocacy groups, engaged citizens, and royal watchers are raising voices filled with frustration and urgency, each insisting loudly that the truth must be uncovered at last. This public outcry transcends mere curiosity. It reflects a deep-seated desire for accountability and resolution, a yearning that has lingered for decades, like an unhealed wound. Conducting an independent investigation could serve as a pivotal step toward closure, not only for William and Harry, but for the many lives touched by Diana's powerful story. Yet, it begs a critical question. Can we truly trust an institution that has historically shielded its secrets and protected its narratives from public scrutiny? Without a commitment to transparency, how can we hope to disentangle the web of speculation that has ensnared and complicated Diana's enduring legacy? The future of the British monarchy hangs in the balance as it stands on the precipice of confronting the fallout from these explosive revelations. Princess Anne's confession has the power to dismantle the carefully curated image of an untouchable royal institution, forcing the family to grapple with a precarious reality where public trust hangs by a thread. In an era marked by heightened scrutiny and social change, the critical question arises: can the monarchy evolve in response to a populace demanding authenticity? Or will it remain entrenched in outdated traditions that no longer resonate with today's society? The potential consequences for the royal family are undeniably complex and multifaceted. As they navigate the shifting tides of public opinion, their capacity to adapt to contemporary values of transparency and accountability will determine their relevance and legitimacy in the years to come. The monarchy must now consider whether clinging to the past is truly worth the price of losing the very public that has sustained its existence for centuries. For the monarchy to rebuild its tarnished trust, it must embrace vulnerability and acknowledge its past shortcomings. Only through an honest dialogue, addressing the historical and emotional scars left in the wake of Diana's tragic end, can the royal family hope to bridge the increasingly widening chasm between itself and the public. The time has come for the monarchy to confront the truth, not only for the sake of its survival, but as a genuine act of reconciliation with the very people it claims to serve. But what are they doing now? The royal family finds itself at a critical juncture, grappling with mounting demands for transparency and accountability that can no longer be ignored. In recent times, the public has rallied for increased openness, particularly in response to alarming health issues that have impacted key members of the monarchy, including King Charles and Princess Kate. These issues have cast a long shadow over the royal institution, leading to a growing perception of vulnerability that must be addressed with urgency and sincerity. As the palace navigates these tumultuous waters, it becomes increasingly clear that the traditional walls of secrecy may no longer serve the royal family well. Plus, King Charles's recent cancer diagnosis has sent shockwaves through the kingdom, raising not only urgent health concerns, but also speculative whispers about the very foundation of the royal family's stability. Meanwhile, Princess Kate's abdominal surgery has further heightened the public's anxiety. These developments have ignited a flurry of questions and concerns regarding the health of the monarchy. Royal biographers and commentators agree that the necessity for greater transparency has never been more critical. Sally Bedell Smith, a prominent royal biographer, underscored this sentiment, observing that everybody feels unsettled by uncertainty. In times of trouble, when the very essence of monarchy is on the line, projecting an image of stability and reliability is paramount. This urgent demand for clarity is not merely a response to health crises, but also stems from a broader public scrutiny that has intensified in the wake of recent scandals. The royal family's approach to handling sensitive information has been brought under the spotlight, particularly after a damaging incident involving manipulated photographs of Princess Kate. Historically, the royal family has upheld a stringent level of secrecy, carefully curating their public image and only revealing select pieces of information. However, recent events suggest that there may be a reluctant shift taking place toward embracing transparency. The royal household has formally adopted a policy that commits to providing information freely, particularly when it comes to the use of public funds. Yet, while these are encouraging signs, the exemptions found within the Freedom of Information Act regarding royal communications serve as barriers to full disclosure. These limitations particularly apply to private matters, which raises questions about how open the monarchy can realistically afford to be, especially when it concerns sensitive personal health issues. As the royal family stands at this crossroads, the stakes could not be higher. To rebuild public confidence, the monarchy must confront the pervasive sense of uncertainty that permeates the air. Clarity and accountability have become essential, not only for the smooth functioning of the institution, but for its moral obligation to those it serves. The challenge lies in balancing tradition with modern expectations. Can the monarchy adapt and transform in a manner that honors its illustrious past, while meeting the demands of a contemporary populace that thirsts for authenticity? What do you think? Let's know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.